Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 11th and the second to last round of Division 2, the 12th season. We are in Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. My name is X_Felix1, or just Felix1, and yeah, I'll be your commentator for today. Unfortunately, Nemesis is not available this week, so I will be alone. I did ask if anyone wanted to join me, so maybe someone was going to join me mid-qualifying. I think Jonathan and Vanderfox, yes, Jonathan and Vanderfox both said they might make it. So we'll see if either of them ends up joining me, but if not, I'll just, yeah, take you through the action on my own tonight. And of course, this being the second to last round, that means that both championships can be mathematically decided, depending on, of course, the whatever happens in this race. In the driver standings, the only three drivers with mathematical contention are Sean Moole, Kevin Kyle, and JM. However, JM has not turned up to this race, and he is 35 points behind Sean Moole, so he is now also mathematically out. So that narrows it down to the Ferrari of Kevin, who is still in the pit lane, and the Williams of Sean Moole, who is also still in the pit lane. I was going to go on board with him for that, but that backfired. Yeah, Sean Moole is on 157 points, followed by Kevin on 136. So there's a 21-point gap in favor of Sean. So what he needs to do today to decide this championship is to extend that lead to 27 points, with, of course, 26 points being the maximum amount of points possible for a race. So, if Sean outscores Kevin by at least 6 points in this race, that will mean that he will be crowned champion for a second time in a row, after already having won the championship in Season 11. And yeah, Kevin was actually one of his rivals in that season as well, in the end finishing, well, 38 points behind, but he was within contention, well, 26 points going to the final race, so actually just about within mathematical contention. And we're looking at a similar scenario now. Kevin, as I said, is 21 points behind, so even if he does hang on to that 21-point gap, he is surely going to want to get that gap a bit lower to make sure he actually has a good chance of beating Sean at the American Grand Prix, or the USA Grand Prix in COTA next week for the final round of Division 2. As we saw Mihai starting his lap, but I think he is abandoned after making a mistake at turn 1, so we'll go on both always. While I talk you through the other, of course, just as important, you could argue, Constructors' Championship, which is also still being fought for. The two main contenders in this are Ferrari and Williams, with Ferrari having 186 and Williams having 176, so Williams being 10 points behind. However, there is quite a few other teams still in contention for this. Pretty much, yeah, the entire top 6 of the standings still within mathematical contention of a Constructors' Championship. So those top 6 being Alpine on 136, 50 points behind Ferrari, McLaren on 125 on 61 points, and Aston Martin, Mercedes both on 110 points in 5th and 6th, 76 points behind Ferrari. But I'm going to be focusing on mainly Williams and Ferrari for tonight, because the only way for Ferrari to win today would be to extend their gap from 10 points to 45 points. They need to gain 35 points on Williams. And if they do that, I am pretty confident nobody's going to gain enough points from them to get within the 44 points maximum that can be scored within one race. Actually, now that I'm thinking for more than 2 seconds here, the Constructors' Championship cannot be decided today, because Ferrari would have to outscore Williams by 35 points, and, well, you need 2 drivers to do that. You can only score 25 with the one driver that I have, Kevin being on his own tonight. Gabri, unfortunately, not available for this Grand Prix, and no reserve driver at all, in fact, on this grid. So we've got a few times coming in so far. Pinky with 45.8, so definitely made a major mistake there. EKA at 29.4, Desi 28.4, and Owise 28.3, and Edwin now the 27.634, the new fastest time, and Strielka goes and beats it, 27.602. for the AlphaTauri driver. The target lap time for a Division 1 level time was set at a 128.0 this week. So anyone who gets into the 128s, into the 127, sorry, would be beaten target lap time. Sean with a 28.0 into third. Kucho in the fourth with a 28.1. Ewek into eighth with a 29.7. So that is not great signs for Williams so far, at least in terms of Ewek. But Kevin, a 27.7, a strong start to qualifying. Only about a tenth and a half of the front two, Edwin and Strielka. Beating Sean by over 2 tenths, so a very good start in fact, I would say, for Kevin. Especially considering that qualifying tends to be his weakness, I would say. Does tend to make up places in the race. So Kevin already being up there in third position. Very promising signs early on. And the moment he'd be right next to Sean. And that would, well, that would certainly be, I would say, the ideal scenario to have those two starting in the close vicinity. At least in terms of the drama for the title fight. I'm gonna try and go through, see if anyone is pushing. Pinky might have just... Yeah, Pinky just finished one actually. 28.278. Jumping into 6th, so a full McLaren third row there. Right behind his teammate. And apart from that... don't think anybody's in a push lap. Otherwise, well, he was 3 tenths down in the first sector, so probably not. But he's still draining that ERS battery, so maybe he is trying to improve on that 28.310. He's also on used tires, so that's going to be a tough thing to improve on this time around. He might have to just go back to the pits, get some fresh tires and then Aston Martin, and then he'll be able to improve maybe. But as we go through 130R into the Casio triangle, down to third gear, gets the car rotated nicely, and now on back onto the throttle. And past the pit entry, over the line, it's a 128.662 in the end. Not an improvement, 3.5 tenths down in his previous best, so yeah, the tire wear definitely, I think, showing there. Making it difficult, of course, to even match your previous best. Once the tires start to go off, you simply just keep losing more and more lap time. Okay, back in the pit lane, I believe we've got Mihai starting a lap here. So yeah, he was the first one out earlier as well, and then unfortunately made a mistake at turn 1. We'll see if he negotiates it better this time around. Of course, Suzuka, a very tricky first sector, the S section. It is probably one of the most famous pieces of racetrack, I would say. And certainly for very good reason. It's really, really fun to drive. Very technical, very difficult to get right, of course, as well. As we see Mihai dip a tire into the grass immediately after, proving my point. We also have Pocho behind him on a lap in the Mercedes. A 32.5 first sector from Mihai. We'll have a quick look at Pocho's first sector in comparison. Would like to know what the difference is. It's a 31.8 for Pocho. And he looks very fast through these Wegner curves. Oh, but he gets beached on the curb and invalidates his run. So the immediate commentator's curse there. We'll go back to Mihai, see the end of his lap. As he goes through Spoon Curve. Gets the car rotating onto the apex very nicely. A bit too careful with the throttle, I would say. They're not quite confident that the car will stick, that he will stick within track limits. And in the middle sector, it's going to be a 112.636 as we have yellow flags all over the track. Oh, and Mihai through 130R goes wide. Which is a interesting place to make a mistake. I mean, it's an easy flat-out corner, so perhaps just some lack of concentration there. I'm not sure. And Mihai over the line with a 29.664 in the end. So despite those few mistakes we saw him make, still able to beat Ewek and not far off EKA. Pocho back in the pit lane after his invalidation. Closest driver to starting a lap now. I think nobody's on the lap yet. Mihai is on smack in the pits and everybody else either down an outlap or in the pits. Drapple of Edwin. As Mihai retires, he just crashed with Gordon with Strielka. See his car on the right hand side there. So he must have spun out into the barrier, I assume. I don't think there was another car he could have hit, so it must have been the barrier. As Edwin is now starting his run, currently in second place. And 32 thousandths of a second behind Strielka in first position. So a very, very close fight for pole position at the moment. Strielka, of course, on an outlap as well, so if Edwin does improve, I'm sure Strielka's gonna try and answer immediately. Very nice lines to the air section here, staying in 6th gear all the way through. And we'll see what the Sector 1 split time will be in just a moment. It's a 31.436, which is slightly slower than his previous. But certainly nothing lost yet. He can still gain more than enough time in the middle and final sector. Nailing the apex for the hairpin. Which actually does not have an official name, but is very commonly called the Kobayashi hairpin. Of course, named after Japanese racing driver Kamui Kobayashi. Well, unofficially named after him. Mainly because it was a very common overtaking space for him, where you would just keep dive bombing other Formula 1 drivers and just kept working. So back in the early 2010s, I think it was 2012 somewhere where they first started doing this, and he kept doing it in his time in Formula 1. So the corner got known to be known as that, despite not being officially called Kobayashi hairpin. Edwin back to the pits, not finishing the lap. Strielka, meanwhile, in the first sector, down by up actually, but then immediately invalidates. Tried to carry a bit too much speed in deck number 1, and that is his lap done. He's gonna have to go back to the pit here 6 minutes ago, so probably one more lap after this. And also, of course, you only actually have 3 tires if you pick the balanced option, 4 if you pick softer. E-Wake up by 5/10, and he puts in a 29.176, jumping into 9th. We've got EKA 15 seconds down the first. They're not going to be improving this lap. Sean Moore was 2/10 down in the middle sector. We'll see if he can find that through the final corner here, or is he going to go back to the pit lane? He is going to go back to the pit lane. Kucho invalidated as well, seemingly not too far ago, because he was up by 2/10 in the first sector. Desi, 30 thousandths up in the middle sector. We'll see if he can beat his teammate O-Wise to P7. That's the car rotated very nicely through the Casio triangle. And now up to the line. Diaz opened just before at a 28.283. And indeed, he beats his teammate. And, well, only 5 thousandths behind Pinky as well. So pretty close there from Pinky to O-Wise. 278, 283, 301. Pocho now out on the medium tires. So interesting strategy from Pocho. Apparently does not want to use too many of those softs in this qualifying session. 31.8 in the middle in the first load. I think it's actually equal to his time on the softs, which is quite impressive then this time around. Or the soft time was not great. One of the two. We also have EK on a lap here, a 29.443. He's currently best lap time. We'll see what he's doing in the first sector. He is up by 2.5 tenths already. And still 2/3 of this lap to go. Quick shift to Pocho as we're gonna see him crossing the sector 2 line here. And then we can see his delta time. It's gonna be a 111.798. I think that should put him probably between E-Wake and O-Wise. I mean, that's a pretty big gap, so it would make sense for him to slot into that. Not a great final corner at all. Oh, we've got a terrible final corner. He has put in the barrier. Don't get disqualified. You are in the pit entry. This is a very dangerous area to spin in. He might get disqualified for blocking the pit entry here. He has gotten lucky. The game has not disqualified him. We go back to EKA. We unfortunately now missed the Sector 2 split time, but we'll see what he's going to be doing over the line at 128.534, jumping all the way into 9th. What was it, 9/10 gain there? Massive gain for EKA, and he's now not far off the Aston Martins there. O-Wise with a 301 and EKA with a 534. Edwin is back out on track with 3.5 minutes to go. This will likely be his final run in this session. And he's still chasing that 27.602 that Strielka put in earlier. Coming up in the back of that Haas of EKA, moving out the way nicely. And Edwin in the first sector is down by over a 10th. It's not a great start to his lap. Kevin on his way as well now in the first sector here. One of the championship protagonists, him and Sean Moore. Sean Moore still in the pit lane, so he is Oh, and Kevin in the gravel here. Kevin's qualifying lap ruined. He might recharge ERS, try again next lap, but still the tires will be a bit more worn. Go back to Edwin. See if he can challenge Strelka for pole position. He does go over the curb there through Spoon Curve, and that certainly lost him a lot of time, a lot of momentum all the way down the straight. And I highly doubt he's going to be improving here. He is not, he's still down by 1.5 tenths. And that might be it for Edwin's qualifying. He might end up not being able to improve. Yeah, and now he just straight lines the chicane and probably back to the pit lane. He's got 2.5 minutes to go. Is he going to try and go out one more time? Gonna be very close in time for him. We also have EKA, who is down 15 seconds, probably back in the pit lane. Marcelio, he is on a push lap, and I think the only one out on track on a push lap right now. Coming up the back of one of the McLarens, who hopefully will either go fast enough to start of this lap, not impede the Red Bull, or let him through before the Casio triangle. And he decides on letting him through. Marcelio now through the Casio triangle. Is he going to be able to put himself into that top 10? How far up the field can he go? It's a 1:29.338. So just a bit slower than the Williams of EWEC. Kucho starting his lap now. He was the one who just let Marcelio through. He's currently in 5th with a 28.122. Kevin is probably starting a lap again as well. No, he's back to the pit lane. And that was that means Kevin's qualifying is over. There's no way he gets back out in time. So Kevin, that 27.780 will be the best we're gonna see from Nate Kucho. Not burning ERS here. He should get around one more time, but he's apparently not wanting to set a lap this time around. He's gonna wait for the next lap. Yeah, down by 1.3 seconds. Strelka starting his run as well now, his final run in this qualifying session. We'll stay on board with him. Our current pole sitter, a 1:27.602 to beat. Or to improve upon, I would have to say. It's already his time, so can't really, well, still can beat it, but you know what I mean. Can't improve on his position, can only extend this gap to the rest of the field to make sure he stays where he is. Very nice S section. EWEC retiring from the session. I think he's crashed in the S section, and it might have been Marcelio actually. Or Edwin. I can't tell. Yeah, Edwin and EWEC are both on the wall there. Strelka up by almost 3 tenths in the first sector. Massive time gain coming in from Strelka. And now, out of the Kobayashi hairpin and down towards Spoon Curve. Is he going to be able to complete this lap? It's been a very strong lap so far. Really, really impressive driving on show from Strelka here. And to the end of Sector 2, how much is he going to be up by? Looked like a very clean Sector 2 from what I saw. Of course, I didn't miss, I think, part of it. Up by 5 tenths, massive improvements from Strelka. Might even be able to get into the 1:26 if he gets to the final sector just right. And now through the Casio triangle, over those curbs. Short shifting to 4th and down to the line. It is a 1:27.136 for Strelka, and what a lap time that is. Sean Moore, meanwhile, up by 3.5 tenths. Might be able to beat Kevin here right in the end. Kucho up by 3 tenths in the middle in the first sector. What about Pinky? Down by 7 tenths. Pinky is down in this session. Sean Moore around the final corner. Desi retiring from the session. He's done as well. And Sean Moore over the line puts in a 1:27.605. Jumps all the way into second place. That is massive for him. Ova is up by 1.5 tenths in the first sector. Pocho on a lap as well. Coming around the final corner. His one and only lap in this quali session. How far up the field can he still go? It is a 1:27.941 into 5th. Now, Kucho and Ova. Ova is up by 4 tenths. So he's going to drop, go into the 1:27 as well here if he just gets the final sector decently in comparison to his previous best in the final sector. It's a 1:27.746 into 4th. Kevin moving further down, and now Kucho might also displace Kevin for P5 there. Over the line, it's a 1:27.813 just behind Kevin. 6th position for Kucho. So, our 2 championship contenders. Sean Moore in 2nd place, Kevin in 5th. And Strelka with a massive gap there of over 4.5 tenths on pole position. Edwin in 3rd, very close behind Sean Moore. Owais in 4th, Kevin in 5th. So if they finish like this, that is an 8-point gain for Sean Moore. That would be enough. Kevin is going to need to get more than this P5. Kucho in 6th. Very close between Owais, Kevin, and Kucho. Pocho in 7th position. Pinky and Desi really close together as well in 8th and 9th. Then EKA in 10th. Ewek in 11th. Marcelio in 12th. And Mihai in 13th position. That's a good rundown for the Japanese Grand Prix. And now we are hopefully in for an exciting 27-lap race around Suzuka. And potentially a title deciding race as well. As I said, 6 points is what Sean Moore needs to gain over Kevin in this race to decide this championship. And I'm very much looking forward to this Grand Prix today. Could be a really, really crucial one. And there we go. The 5 red lights for the race start are on, and it's lights out, and away we go, and Strelka gets away very well. Sean Muldo sliding on the left-hand side and immediately attacked by Edwin on the outside, but Sean Muldo has covered him off. Edwin into 3rd, Kevin and Owais squabbling for 4th. Kevin goes a bit wide, trying to go all the way around the outside of Owais. He does now have the inside for the section, does pull off Kevin up to 4th. Owais into 5th, bit of squabbling in behind, we've seen Alfa Romeo, and a Williams in contact, Ewek and Marcelio, dropping into, well, almost last as Pocho and Pinky have hit as well, and Pocho spun around again. Pocho and Pinky seem to have had instant start as well, both having dropped down majorly into 13th and 12th. And Strelka still leading in already almost a 1 second gap to Sean Moore. So a great start from Strelka as Owais goes deep into the double pit, gets passed by Kucho, gets passed by Desi, and EKA having a look as well, but surely 3 right into the hairpin cannot work. They're trying it though. Owais comes out ahead, and now Desi and EKA are still fighting over P7 there. And in the end, Desi, he has the inside line down towards Spoon, then will turn to the inside for EKA, who has now pulled ahead. And even is going to try and make a move on Owais as well. EKA, with front wing damage as well on Haas, has to concede a position in the end. His front right end plate missing, and it goes very deep into the gravel and loses out in the end. Marcelio with a spin in the spoon curve as well on the exit. Sean Moore under massive pressure from Edwin for 2nd place as Strelka is pulling away at the front. Edwin having a little look down to the Casio triangle. Meanwhile, Kevin over a second back from these two. Not in the ERS range at the end of lap 1. He's going to have to try and change that to stay with his title rival. As of now, Sean's going 18, Kevin's going 12. That would mean Sean is just about doing enough in this race. But of course, still a very, very long way to go. Only lap 2 of 27. So we'll get back to that later on. Pinky in the pit lane to get a wing change, I assume. We'll have a quick look at that. Pocho in as well. Can of course also have a quick look at the tires. Mostly mediums, few soft as well in use. No hard compounds. Pinky on the hards now though. And of course a wing change for both of them and Pocho, to be expected if you're pitting on lap 1, as Strelka continues to build his gap at the front. 1.8 seconds. Strelka doing a mega job so far in this race. And if he can keep that going, I wonder what the gap could be at the end. That is absolutely crazy. The pace difference that he has around this Suzuka track seems to be a very strong track for him. Of course, he's always been one of the faster drivers in this division. But yeah, this is truly a very impressive gap to have after just 1.5 laps. As we see Kevin, he has closed the gap somewhat to Edwin, and he's dropped Kucho outside 1 second. Exactly what he needs. If Sean Moore finishes 2nd, Kevin needs to finish 3rd. But Sean Moore himself is under quite a bit of pressure from Edwin. Edwin is following the Williams very, very closely here. Can have a quick look at the telemetry as well. Saw Edwin lifting there for just a moment, so doesn't want to pass into the Casio triangle. Might be waiting, wanting to wait for the DRS to be activated to yeah, have an easier chance of making the move actually stick. And now go down into turn 1. Does Edwin have the run on him this time around? Is Edwin gonna go for it? He's in the slipstream. As we see EK, I think, having a spin at the Casio triangle on the track map. EK into the pits now. And no move attempted. EK speeding in the pits as well. Not great for him. A 5-second penalty and probably a wing change, I assume, if he's coming into the pits. Yeah, we did see have wing damage earlier, and indeed a wing change for the Haas and hard compound tires on the car as well now. As Edwin is practically pushing Sean for the air section there. I think it was 1/10 gap as they exited the Dunlop curve. So Edwin absolutely hounding the back of that Williams. Exactly what he needs to be doing here if he wants to move up into second place. And Kevin following very closely behind, just watching these guys, probably waiting for his opportunity, waiting for some kind of mistake. Ideally from Sean Moole, but I'm sure he would take the position of Edwin gladly as well. Bit of a train developing as Kucho is just about hanging out in the back of Kevin. So we might be seeing the train all the way from Sean Moole to Desi from 2nd to 7th. But only one DRS straight on this track, of course, down towards turn 1. No DRS into 130R. So the most of the overtaking is going to be done the old-fashioned way without the open DRS. Yeah, the only exception being the main straight. And now DRS has been, after being activated last lap, that is Edwin's chance, and I think he has to run on him. Yes, Edwin up into second place, moves past Sean Moole, and Sean Moole has absolutely no chance of defending it. Simply lacking the straight line speed. Edwin takes P2 in this race. And we'll see if he can pull away now. He did seem to be the faster driver, based on how closely he was following Sean Moole earlier. Of course, Sean Moole has to keep an eye out behind as well. He has now got his championship rival Kevin all over the back of him. And Kevin is surely going to want to take that third position and take some points off Sean. Because even if Sean does not win the championship this weekend, if they finish like that, that's still a 24-point gap in favor of Sean. And that's going to be a tricky gap to overcome. So Kevin needs to get every single point he can in this race to make sure that he can still win the championship. Meanwhile, Owa is now barely hanging in the back of this DRS train. Same goes for Desi. Kucho, he's closing a bit more now. He's down to 5/10 towards Kevin. As Sean Moole goes deep through the spawn curve. Sean making a few mistakes, it seems. Pushing really hard to stay in the back of Edwin. And we have yellow flags and EKA with a crash in the S section at the Dunlop curve, it seems, and we've got a full core safety car deployed after only 4 laps, and that is now the entire 3.5 second gap that Strelka had built gone. Rather disappointingly for him, I would assume. We'll see what the strategy is like now. Strelka going in, so does Edwin. What about Sean? He's coming in as well. Kevin is staying out. Kucho's coming in. Owa is staying out. Desi coming in. Eway coming in, Mihai staying out, and Marcelio coming in as well. So the only three, staying out are Kevin, Owais, and Mihai. Everybody else onto fresh hards and probably trying to go to the end here. Pinky and Poch are already on the hards, so we'll see what they're going to end up doing here. If they go back to mediums, if they go for soft to stay on these hards. I mean, they only have 1 hard available, unless they picked the harder tire option, which no one ever does, because you only get 2 softs, which simply is not enough. Marcelio actually on mediums rather than hards, so interesting choice for him. Going different to everybody else. Pinky and Pocho... Pinky staying out, Pocho isn't, so those two also having conflicting ideas of what is the better strategy here, and Pocho is gonna go on to fresh mediums. So probably a medium soft from here for Pocho. And this safety car has now brought Pocho and Pinky back into the fight after their early incidents. And it also has brought Kevin into the lead of this Grand Prix. But, of course, a tire disadvantage for him over everyone from P4 downwards. He's gonna have to hope that those guys struggle to get past Owais and Mihai early on. I mean, as of now, Kevin is scoring 25 and Sean is scoring 8. So that is a 17-point swing in favor of Kevin, bringing the gap down to only 4 points. So, if everything finishes like this, which it likely won't, because, of course, Kevin, Owais and Mihai still have pit stops to make, whereas everybody else does not necessarily have to make a pit stop. Yeah, if everything were to finish like this, that would be great for Kevin. But still over 20 laps to go, 22 laps to go in this Grand Prix in fact, and way too early to say what's going to end up happening here. We probably have another lap of safety running as Pocho is not quite caught up to the field yet. He is just going through the spoon curve, so yeah. Should be 1 more lap of safety running and then we'll be back underway. Green flags at Suzuka. Worth mentioning also this guy, Suzuka, of course, well known for a few wet races here and there. Most recently in, was it 2022? The title deciding race, well, I believe. I think Max Verstappen did win the championship around Suzuka in 2022. And yeah, and it does tend to rain quite heavily when it does rain around Suzuka. I remember a few years before that the qualifying being moved to Sunday morning. I'm not sure what year that was. So yeah, rain definitely a possibility, but looking at the sky, not many clouds, looks very bright. I don't think we'll have any rain today. So it should be a full dry run to the end. And I'm guessing the strategy for Kevin and Owais and Mihai as well. Now Mihai is very confused that Mihai ended up staying out. I mean, of course he's going for track position, but his softs are already 5 laps old. They don't last for all that long anyway. I think they last for about 10 laps. You would have thought surely Mihai is gonna pit on the safety car. All the other soft runners did. But he didn't. He's gonna go for track position, try and defend. And then probably, yeah, Mihai pitting onto mediums, Owais and Kevin pitting onto softs later on. And then gonna try and make up for that pit stop loss. While the rest of the field's gonna be crawling around on their old hard tires, or old medium tires in the case of Marcello and Poggio. We'll see if that works out for them. Of course, that could all be thrown out the window if there's any more safety cars here. Safety car should be called in, as everybody is now bunched up. And Kevin is gonna be setting the pace through the final sector and deciding when to restart the race. Of course, guys gonna want to try and catch Owais off guard. Make sure he stays in P1 and also make sure that the gap is as big as possible. I think he's gonna be mainly looking at Strielka and Edwin and Sean, of course, as well, rather than Owais right behind him. Since those guys in the fresh tires should be on the back of him rather quickly. Kevin slowing the field down, heading into the Casio Triangle. And nice accelerated just before the Casio Triangle. Very good restart from Kevin. He's caught Owais completely napping. 8/10 gap, and Owais with a spin into the pit lane as well. Rejoins the track there. And he's immediately dropped all the way to 6th, 7th position. Mihai is way behind Kevin now. Kevin has a massive gap at the front. And Strielka still stuck behind Mihai, heading to the S section. That could be a major time loss now. Let's see if Strielka can find a way around Mihai quickly. He's not going to want to see Kevin driving away at the front. But that's exactly what he's going to be seeing now, as Mihai is just sitting in front of that AlphaTauri, and surely Strielka's going to be really annoyed with the situation right now. He's burning overtake down the deck now, surely not. And a opportunity for an overtake, and Strielka with wing damage. Strielka has gone into the back of Mihai, and you can see the front right end plate missing, and he straight lines into the wall. And that is another safety car. Well, what do I say? Normally I'd try and defend in this situation, but that was rather obvious. Strielka just full throttle straight onto the wall, causing another full course safety car, only half a lap after the last one. Very disappointing end to his race, considering the great start he had. Had great pace and just thrown away like that. So, what is the strategy now? Kevin and Mihai, those two have not pitted yet. Are they gonna pit now? Owais as well, of course. I forgot about it, he's done in 8th, but of course he also has not pit yet. I feel like, especially for Owais, it would now make sense to pit because he doesn't have any track position to lose anyway. I mean, well, 3 positions, but way less than Kevin and Mihai would lose if they were to pit. And Kevin is in. Mihai is still staying out though. Mihai is still not giving up on his track position. What is Kevin gonna do here? Onto the hard compound tires, so he will now have a slight tire advantage over the rest of the field, but he's gonna drop to 8th position. Owais, Pinky and Poggio all in as well, and Poggio going onto the hards. 3 lap old hards for him, already slightly worn from the start of the race. Owais and Pinky on the fresh tires, Pinky on the mediums, Owais and Kevin on the hards. Mihai now in the lead of this race, which is not something you say every day, but he is the only one to actually have made a pit stop, so not made a pit stop, sorry, so far in this Grand Prix. Oh, sorry, Vanderfox. I just saw your message. I didn't check my phone, so yeah, we should now have a co-commentator joining me soon, which is very nice. I'll just quickly invite Vanderfox into a party. If it were to load, hello? PlayStation? What the hell have I missed? Mihai has been disqualified from the session, and he's ahead of the safety car. What the hell, Mihai? What have you done? Sorry, yeah, hello, Phantom.
What has happened there then?
Well, I was out of the game inviting you, and then as I go back into the game, I see a message saying Mihai disqualified, and see him ahead of the safety car. What has he done?
Well, that is a disaster, because I was thinking before this race as well, with only 13 drivers, Mihai still without a point this season, this was the opportunity.
What the hell has he even done? I would. Oh. The safety car teleported behind him. Oh no! Oh, that is so annoying. So he's been screwed over by a game issue there. From the lead of the race. And that is Mihai, well, down in 13th now with the disqualification.
What a shame.
Yeah. Well, Edwin now the new race leader, followed by championship leader Sean Moole, Cucho in 3rd, Desi in 4th, Ewek in 5th, Marcelio in 6th, Kevin on the fresh tires in 7th, followed by Owais in 8th on fresh tires as well, Pinky in 9th, and Pocho in last place. Are you able? Have you actually gotten to the lobby? Are you able to see the?
Yeah, I'm watching now. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not sure how it works joining as a spectator mid session.
No, it all looks okay.
I'm not sure if you're caught up on the championship situation. We've got Sean and Kevin.
Yes.
Okay.
I was able to listen to the start of the stream.
Ah,
when
perfect.
The race started, so I heard some of what you were saying.
Yes, we should have a nice fight for the race win and for the title as well today now.
Yeah.
Edwin could be interesting to see actually what ends up happening here. Edwin is in track position, Kevin has got the tires, and Sean Moole of course is not gonna give up on this fight as well. And there's a few others in there as well who I'm sure are gonna give it the all. Cucho in 3rd place, surely eyeing on that Red Bull as well, wanting to take this race win tonight.
Do you think Marcelio can get these mediums to the end if there's no more safety cars?
He can for sure. I've done it. They're around similar length, but it's not gonna be nice at the end. Let's say that. I think I had like 85% when I did a 21 lap stint. So it's not great, but it can work just about. But you are within danger of a puncture if you go that long. Safety car in this lap. Edwin now controlling this the field. So we go into the Casio triangle once again. Edwin, and he is gone now. He's gone. Oh, that is rather questionable. Going in and stopping again, but fortunately it hasn't caused any incidents. And he is able to defend against Sean Moole as Desi is all over the back of Cucho heading into turn 1. Though not quite able to complete the move. We've got Kevin immediately putting pressure on the Red Bull of Marcelio ahead of him. Of course wanting to make use of those fresh tires and get past as many of these guys ahead of him as early as possible. As Sean Moole is doing a good job of staying with Edwin. About 5/10 a gap there as we exit the S section. Ewek also very close to the back of Desi as Marcelio himself actually now turning defense into attack. on the back of Ewek. His mediums, of course, being put to good use. They should be faster for now, at least. But the question is for how much longer. When do the hards start coming into their own against the mediums? We also have Pinky on the medium, so he is worth looking out for as well. We'll see if he can try a move on the Aston Martin of him against Owise. So Owise goes a bit deep through Spoon Curve and now invites Pinky in very close. And he might try and make a move down to the Casio Triangle. We have two cars following each other very closely here, all the way from Ewek to Owise, as Pinky's dropped off a bit actually. But nobody going for the move into the chicane.
On the grass, Marcelione's had to cut the chicane, and he's going to drop loads of places here.
He's going to drop down to the last, very fair of him to rejoin safely and, well, sacrificing all the check position. He's now down to the last place.
OY's going a bit deep as well, and he's also lost places to Pocho.
Yeah, and Pocho now with the move on Pinky up into 7th place. Pinky not able to defend against Mercedes despite a tyre advantage. A bit of a train being built here from Edwin to Kevin, although Desi is only barely within a second of Kucho. So that could be where this train ends up breaking apart. Pocho 1.2 seconds behind Kevin. He might try and connect those trains as well again, get into the 1 second range to have the DRS on Kevin ahead. Stay with the guys in front. As Pinky has a little look into the hairpin, but not quite. Despite entire advantage, can't outbreak the Mercedes, has to slot in behind once again. Ewek following Desley very closely, as Desley is dropped off from Kucho massively, so he must have made a mistake maybe in the middle sector. He's lost about half a second there. Kucho himself outside DRS into Sean. So Sean and Edwin might be running away at the front with this, which is great news for them and terrible news for Kevin, who's now making a move on Ewek around the outside into 130R, as Ewek covers him off very nicely. But Kevin still trying it, and maybe now into the chicane. Still cannot actually get alongside the Williams. Of course, Ewek being Sean's teammate, he has every reason to defend his position to make sure Kevin is stuck here for as long as possible.
Pinky's got the run here on Pocho, he's going to go to the inside.
Yes, in the background we see the McLaren on the Mercedes.
Not going to overtake him. Oh, could be a contact.
They've both barely survived it. And Pocho comes on ahead after multiple moments of contact there going through turn 1. As we see Kevin still trying to get around that Williams. Who himself is having a look at Desi, of course.
Pocho and Pinky in here.
We also have Owise very close to Pinky here, as they enter Dagner. Oh, Pocho with a bit of a wobble. And now Pinky invited in close once again. Him at the front.
Also slightly dropped off the front too.
Yeah, Sean and Edwin seem to be the pace leaders here. Kucho not quite able to go their pace, and Desi, well, the same for him. Still just keeping all these cars behind him. And Kevin surely is going to have to try and find the way around Ewek if he wants to stay in this title fight. But it's difficult. Ewek himself having DRS from Desi ahead, as Desi is closed all the way into Kucho. What has happened here, Kucho? He had a full second gap and now Desi is right behind him.
He'll have DRS down the main straight.
And now Desi might be able to make a move here. Keep an eye on Sean Moon as well. Is he gonna pass Edwin?
Past Pocho again in the background.
Desi having a look up the inside, can't quite pull it off. Same as Sean Moon against Edwin, both not actually going for the move in the end.
Pinky overtakes Pocho.
Yes, those two continuing to swap places. Pinky not making quite as good use of those mediums as I thought he would. He's still stuck in 7th place here. Not really making much progress. And if anything, over the course of this race, he's gonna only lose pace compared to all the cars around him. As Kevin is now close on the back of Ewek once again. This is the main fight I'm looking out for, the one that's most crucial for the title battle. As well as, of course, Sean against Edwin. Right now, Sean's scoring 18 points, Kevin's scoring 8. So that would be more than enough for Sean to decide the championship. But we're not even at the halfway stage yet, well, just about. So Kevin still has a bit of time left in this Grand Prix. Now as Desi pulls off to the left-hand side. Must have made a mistake there. And now both Avery, Ewek and Kevin slip through. Is Desi gonna try and fight back against these guys? Doesn't seem like it. Kevin having a look at Ewek up the inside into Casio Triangle, but no. Cannot outbreak him by enough, but maybe down to turn 1. Ewek does have DRS from Kucho. So that should make it possible for him to defend against Kevin for a little bit longer. Kevin not burning ERS. Seemingly does not think he has a chance to pass the Williams in turn 1. So still all staying as it was. It is Kevin following Ewek, following Kucho. I'm not sure what happened to Desi. Did you happen to see what he did?
I didn't, but I'm assuming he lost the rear end coming out of Spoon, is what I would guess. But...
Oh! As you say that, another rear end loss coming out of the S section, and Pinky slips past him. So Desi maybe struggling a bit with the rear tires, could be having temperature issues. If we're seeing him have modes off here so often. I can have a quick look at the temperatures. They look fine. 103 on the rear, 105 on the front. So if anything, the front is a bit hot, but I think the hards can go 105 without too many problems. So we're now back onto the long straight down to 130R again. Kevin close behind Ewek, but maybe not quite close enough. Although Ewek himself.
Very close to Edwin here. I think Sean's going to go for it.
Oh yes, of course, the fight for the race win here.
No.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for the DRS. I think he has not gone for it on purpose. As Kevin makes the move on Ewek, they make contact.
There was contact.
And Ewek has to give up the position. Although Kevin going slowly as well, and now Pinky might end up capitalizing here against the Ferrari. Sean is past Edwin for the lead. I've missed that completely. I'm very sorry. Pinky going to the back of Kevin. And Kevin having a look at Kucho into the S section. Surely not. No, he doesn't go for it. That would have been very, very ballsy. And he's still gonna have to follow Kucho around for a little while longer at least. As he is now in a bit of a McLaren sandwich here. He's got Pinky behind him, Kucho ahead of him. Ewek dropping down to 6th from whatever happened at the Casio Triangle. Fortunately, only switched on to hit the camera when Ewek was already off track, so I'm not sure what happened between Kevin and Ewek. Kevin is now close behind Kucho into the hairpin, but not able to send it on the brakes. Might wait for the DRS down the main straight.
Let's go. Okay, exit though.
Pocho very close behind this as well. Marcellia now with a crash at the hairpin. That's another safety car! Safety car number 3, I think it is, with 12 laps to go. This could be interesting now. I'm not sure how many tires people even have left at this point. I think most have used quite a few already. Softs can probably last from here, but I'm not sure if it's a good... I think the best choice would be a fresh medium if you're gonna pit. And I think pitting does make sense. The tires are quite worn at this stage, 7 and 10 laps each for the drivers, so staying out would be a risky choice. Sean Moole does indeed come in. Same goes for Edwin. Same goes for Kucho. Kevin coming in as well. Pinky also coming in. Ewek coming in. Desi in. Pocho in. Owise in. The entire field into the pit lane. Desi with a speeding penalty. Kevin onto softs. Edwin onto mediums. Kucho onto mediums. Sean onto softs as well. So both Sean and Kevin onto the softs. Sean rejoins in the lead, followed by Edwin, then Kucho, then Kevin, then Ewek. Now there's still a few pit stops happening here, so could still make a few changes.
Pinky dropped all the way to 7th.
Desi 5th, Ewek 6th, Pinky 7th, Pocho 8th, and Owise in 9th position. So we've got softs for Sean, Kevin, and Pocho. Rest of the field on mediums.
I'm pretty sure Kevin put the softs on in the Division 1 race at a similar time and he managed to get into the end pretty easily, so I don't think it's too much of a gamble here.
Yeah, they can definitely go to the end. I think it's a question of whether you want to be fast now or fast at the end. I'm pretty confident that towards like lap 23, 4, the mediums will start being faster than the softs. So if, say, Edwin and Kucho manage to stay in the DRS train with Sean and Kevin, they could end up capitalizing on the fact that those softs are going to drop off somewhat. But I think for Sean, this could be great. He might end up just building a 1 second gap before those tires drop off, and then just being able to secure the race win like that, which would obviously be perfect for him. That is exactly what he would need. And then Kevin is going to have to try and get past that McLaren of Kutscher and the Red Bull of Edwin to stay with Sean Moore to prevent Sean from doing just that.
I wonder how aggressive Kevin will be on the restart, because he knows that he has to make these overtakes if he wants to win the championship.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot to be in, because of course he has to make up places, but at the same time, if he gets into an incident, it's all over. So how much risk does he take? It's a difficult balancing act in this situation. I think for Sean it's a bit easier, because he has got the cushion pretty much. He has a 21-point gap over Kevin. So even if he does end up making the wrong decision in this race, he can still fall back on that gap and have a chance to fight back next week. Probably still with a lead, unless he scores 0 while Kevin wins the race. But even then, there will only be a very small lead in favor of Kevin.
He has a teammate as well, and I don't know if you mentioned the Constructors' Championship earlier, but there's only one Ferrari here, whilst there's 2 Williams, so Williams are already going to gain on Ferrari.
Yes, Ferrari are 10 points ahead of Williams going into this race. Oh, once again, a bit of lag going on there. Sean... Oh, lagging ahead of the safety car again. Same happened to Mihai. Thankfully he's able to get back behind it, but there does seem to be a consistent issue with the safety car today, which is not great. But it seems to have fixed itself now, and I think nobody has gotten any damage or penalties from it, thankfully. Yeah, so at least it isn't disrupting the championship fight, even if it has disrupted Mihai's race, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, what a shame for Mihai. Still on 0 points. Do you think he can finally get off the market, USA?
Well, I would hope so. I mean, he has at least scored points in Division 1, so...
Yeah.
At least there's that. He has scored points this season, just not in Division 2.
I think he was actually driving my car. I think that was a race I couldn't make.
I'm not sure which car he drove in the race and he got points.
I think it was McLaren, because I'm pretty sure I was telling him to do well for us in the Constructors, and then he came last, which was 10 from 1 point.
Great, yeah.
Yeah,
Safety car should be in this lap, I think. So we'll be back on the way.
I think it was my teammate at the start, and then he just left.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do we have a teammate at this point? We have a few open seats in Division 1. I'm not sure if McLaren is one of them.
It was something, and then he left.
Yeah, we never got a new one, did you? I'm not sure.
No.
There's not been too many new drivers joining Division 1 willing to take main seats. So yeah, everybody bunched up behind the safety car. We'll have a restart at the end of this lap. And then a sprint race to the end to decide, potentially, the Drivers' World Championship. Right now, Sean Moore doing enough would be gaining 13 points on Kevin. Finishing P1 while Kevin is in P4. Should probably have a look at the fast lap as well, which is currently going to Strelka. Which must have been very early in the race, so I'm surprised nobody's beaten that yet. But I'm sure now with the fresh softs and mediums, someone's going to end up doing it. So yeah, Sean Moore now is doing the pace. Safety car's coming in. Can see when he decides to go. Very nice camera angle here from the helicopter view. And now, coming up the Casio Triangle, he's going very, very late here. And now he's finally gone. And Kutscher has been given a 5-second penalty for a collision with Edwin. And Kevin with a great restart. On the inside of the McLaren, although Kutscher picking up a slipstream from the Red Bull ahead, Edwin. And Kevin ends up ahead though. Up into third place. Yep, great restart from him. And now only one car between him and Sean. And I'm sure he's gonna want to dispatch off that Red Bull quickly as well. Meanwhile, down the midfield, we've got Pocho, of course, on the fresh soft on the back of Pinky. He's going to try and get past him. Pocho and Pinky have been battling all race. So there might be even more coming off that now, as Pinky goes a bit deep through Dagner. Pinky himself all over the back of Ewek, makes a mistake there, and now Pocho gets alongside, down to the hairpin. Around the outside maybe for Pocho here. Can he pull this one off? And yeah, Pinky gets boxed in behind Ewek, and Pocho
well.
all the way around yourself. Ewek, a beautiful move. And there they come, down into the spoon curve. Is Potro gonna pull this one off? They're still side by side. Ewek trying his absolute best to fight back. And in the end, it is Potro who comes on top, ahead of Ewek, and then Pinky in 8th place. Although Pinky now coming at Ewek as well for the 7th position, down into 130R. And that is Pinky up on the 7th. Both Potro and Pinky passed Ewek rather quickly, taking a few crucial points off Williams, which is great news for Ferrari, and always sends it on Ewek as well, and that could be Ewek down to the last place as always. No, ends up in the gravel at the Casio Triangle. Sean Moore in the front with over a second gap, exactly as I said. He is pulled away from Edwin, making use of those fresh softs. Kevin still behind the Red Bull.
A great double move there by Potro, and with 2 5-second penalties ahead of him, it puts him in a net P4.
Yeah, I'm not sure if those penalties. I mean, Kucho's penalty. I'm not sure what happened. He made contact with Edwin apparently, but considering neither driver seems to have damage, it can't have been that major. So I could see that one being removed. I think Desi was speeding in the pit lane.
Desi was speeding in the pit lane.
Yes, so that's very unlikely to be removed. I think the only way that could be removed is if he got re-ended into the pit lane.
Or lag, maybe.
Yeah. So Desi's penalty is probably staying. Kucho's probably being removed, I would say. Of course, if they send it in, depending on what actually happened. That's just my first instinct based on the nature of the penalty. It always depends on the exact situation, whether it actually gets removed or not. But even ignoring that, Potro is closing in. Of course, those fresh softs still doing magic for him, I would say. The only major question is how long that can last. If those softs are gonna drop off sooner or later. Potro really close behind the Aston Martin, and he might try and go for the move into the Casio Triangle. Yes! Under brakes! And beautiful, gets it stopped just in time. That is a perfect dive bombing maneuver.
Pinky might have the run on Desi as well, or Desi might be able to come back at Potro.
Yeah, he's trying it, but I think he's abandoned actually. I think he is just letting Potro have it. As Kevin has gotten Edwin! And Edwin has gone off! Edwin has reset the track as well! Edwin's a mistake at turn 1, and he's down to 7th place, resetting the track, so that would be a penalty as well if someone reports it.
Was it a mistake or was it contact? I'm not sure.
That is a fair point. I'm not sure if there was an incident or not. I just saw Kevin pass him, and then I saw yellow flags, so I'm not sure if Kevin passed him because there was yellow flags, or if there were yellow flags because Kevin passed him. Whatever came first. I guess that's gonna get out to the stewards room potentially, if there was any contact between Edwin and Kevin. But now, we have got Sean in first, Kevin in second. And Kevin, well, it's very simple now. Kevin has to chase Sean and pass him, if he wants to stay in this title fight. Kucho behind has a penalty, although potentially removable. And then Potro in 4th place. We've got Pinky in 5th as well now, and everybody behind, I would say, is too far back. I mean, if these softs die off, I could honestly see a McLaren 1-2 here, which is not something I was expecting to say going into this race.
No.
We still have 7 laps to go. Kucho is closing in on Kevin. Are the softs starting to show somewhere? Kucho has closed the gap. He's gotten into the DRS range. Only 5 laps on those tires, but the softs really do not last long around here. This could be a very, very crucial race for McLaren. And might even end up with them back in the hunt for the Constructors' Championship. I'm not sure. I did list them within mathematical contention, I believe. McLaren are 61 points behind Ferrari. So yeah, this could bring them into mathematical contention if they end up with a very good result here. But even then, still a large gap to overcome at Kota. But anything can be possible, you know? We'll only have to wait and see. It all depends on what Kucho and Pinky can do in this race still, and Kucho is definitely a lot faster than Pinky right now. The gap is coming down. Kucho faster than Kevin, sorry. Gap is coming down more and more, and DRS down the main straight should allow Kucho to make the move on Kevin. And that might not even be too bad for Kevin. He might end up just letting Kucho go, and practically using him to close the gap on Sean Moore. Kucho to the outside of 130R. And that should be Kucho passed. Yes, around the outside the 130R, a beautiful move, and Kevin, with no ERS to defend, has to concede the position. He doesn't have DRS on the main straight though. He might either try and fight back or simply stay with the McLaren to start chasing after... Oh, apologies. Sean Moole. Pocho in there as well, so the three of them in a DRS train chasing after the Williams up front. Can Sean bring this home to the end? We have got Ewag in here as well, fighting Owise. And Edwin fighting Desi. It is worth mentioning, if Kucho were to beat Sean Moole to P1, it would mean the title goes down to the final race. Since Sean Moole has to gain 6 points on Kevin.
Well, that's assuming that Kucho's penalty will get...
Yeah, that is... Oh, that couldn't have been complicated. The title potentially being decided in the steward's office, which is never great.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll just have to wait and see.
Although Pocho could have something to say about that yet as well. He's all over the back of Kevin.
Yeah, Pocho's pace seems really strong on these softs. He's got a bit more ES than Kevin, about 20% advantage over him. So, a good chance of Pocho to maybe steal this podium off Kevin right in the end. Oh well, which would be a P2 if Kucho's penalty does stay. Kucho almost in DRS wins to Sean, and we still have quite some way to go here. As Pocho is closing in on the Ferrari. And tries the inside for the Casio Triangle, outbrakes the Ferrari, and he gets ahead. Although he does go deep, Kevin with the switchback, and Kevin, off track there fully. After making contact with Pocho, Pocho is ahead for now. But I will say that was not the cleanest move I've ever seen. Pocho in the third, Kevin down to fourth, and Pinky now is closed in massively from that. And Kevin is surely not going to be happy. Massively impacting his chance at the title there. Pocho overtaking Kevin for third place very aggressively. They have both got out of the S-Winch Kucho. Sean Moole is still over a second ahead of the McLaren. Kucho has burned almost all his ERS. Sean Moole still has a bit more to play with here. So I think Sean Moole is setting up for a late race challenge from Kucho. While Kucho is simply trying to get that gap down so he can actually attempt an overtake in the first place. But we still have a few laps to go. Those softs are only going to be losing more and more pace. Kevin and Pocho could well be under threat behind from Pinky as well. But yeah, this entire train has no ERS. Kucho 6%, Pocho 15, Kevin 10, Pinky 8. Nobody has any ERS. Owise 18 as well.
Jesse at the back is 75% though, so...
And he's the only one who hasn't burned everything, it seems. Ewag has a bit left as well, about 25, which isn't great either, but at least something. So Kevin in the S-Vintage Pocho. I think he's too far back to go for the move on the main straight though.
I can't believe Ewag didn't send that there on Edwin. He had the move almost wrapped up and bailed out of it, but he's got DRS now, so maybe he was just waiting for a safer DRS move.
Yeah, he's gonna go for it in the turn 1. That should be Ewag up to 7th and securing a few more very valuable points for Williams in the Constructors' Championship. But a few laps to go. Maybe Edwin can fight back. Maybe Ewag can have a go at Owise as well still. Lap 24 of 27. Not too long to go. Can Sean Moole hang on to that race win?
Kevin with barely any ERS, but he has managed to stay in Pocho's 1 second, so can he get back past with DRS in the last couple of laps?
Yeah, Kevin is surely going to try and get past Pocho. It could be championship deciding if Pocho passes Sean Moole and gets his penalty removed as well. But if Sean Moole wins this race, then nothing that Kevin does will matter. At this point, I don't think Kevin can do anything about Sean Moole winning. He has to hope for Kucho. He is simply too far back with not too many laps to go. So Kevin has to practically... Yeah, Kevin has to pass Pocho and hope that Kucho passes Sean. To stay in mathematical title contention heading into Kota. As Pocho is slowing down! Pocho lets the Ferrari through. And I mean, he was well ahead, so surely not playing DRS games there.
No, he must want Kevin to make it a closer championship battle.
He might have decided to do that after his questionable overtake earlier.
Edwin comes into the pits, as seen trying to get the fastest lap.
Yeah, so I think Pocho decided to let Kevin pass as a apology for the incident a few laps ago, which stopped Kevin out of DNS into Kucho. So yeah, that is Kevin back up to third. Second place with Kucho's penalty.
Doing that might make Pocho a bit susceptible to Pinky now as well, because Pinky's within 1 second of Pocho.
Yeah, Pinky might still steal this podium right in the end. He has a major tire advantage over those softs at this point. 9-lap-old softs are not going to be great. But not too many laps to go. I mean, and Pinky's not all that close to the back of Pocho and Kevin. And Pocho might well have a chance to re-overtake Kevin. He's got more ES, he left DNS, heading onto the main straight. Meanwhile, Kucho still 1.5 seconds back from Sean. He cannot close that gap, it seems. Sean doing a brilliant job, despite the old softs surely at this point being well slower than the mediums. He's still hanging in there. Fastest lap currently going to Kevin with a 29.722, but I'm sure Edwin is going to try and change that at the end of this Grand Prix. Edwin's ERS not looking too great, about 30%, so not too much ERS to play with for his hot lap attempt. So we head down to turn 1. Is Pocho going to be able to pass him as a Ferrari here? I think he will. He's burning overtake. Down the main straight, and around the outside he goes into turn 1, and yes, he gets Kevin. Pinky not able to follow suit.
He could do nothing. Kevin now has to try and regather some energy and try and get back on the last lap and hope that the Sean will Kucho battle goes his way.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, 1.7 seconds the gap. I think this might be over. I think Sean Moore could end up winning this. I don't think Kucho's going to be able to close that gap in time. Only 1.5 laps to go, still over 1.5 seconds back to McLaren. Sean Moore, I think, has done enough here to win the Japanese Grand Prix, and with that, win the title as well. Although, I mean, I don't want to say it too early. I don't want to jinx him. But, well, I've said it now. It's too late. Now he has to overcome my jinx, so we'll see. God, imagine if he gets a puncture on the last lap now, that'd be so funny. And heartbreaking as well. So, heading on to the, well, almost onto the last lap. We are on lap 26 out of 27, going down towards 130R. Kucho not in the S finish to Sean Moore. Sean doing a very good job of keeping that under control, as Kevin is under big pressure from Pinky behind. Yeah, Pocho in third place as well, and Pinky has a little look, but not got the braking performance, and now, with a lack of ERS in Pinky's car, doubtless going to be able to make a move with Kevin having DRS from Pocho as well. Although we'll see. Does Pinky have the straight line speed to get past the Ferrari? Kevin closing in on Pocho, and Kevin up the inside he goes, and he does get past Pocho. Kevin up to third place again.
Can Pocho come back at him?
Oh, what a battle! Contact. Oh! Contact made! But both have thankfully survived that. And then is Pocho back up to third place. As we have got Pinky all over Kucho. At this point, Kucho might actually get the 5-second gap to these guys. It's 4.2 to Pocho. So at the moment, Pinky and Kevin are barely inside, I think, but it's very, very close.
Pinky all over Kevin.
And Kucho is continuing to drop back from Sean. Sean is extending this gap. Over 2 seconds now. And that should be confirmation. I think Sean Moore is going to end up winning this Japanese Grand Prix. Only one more overtake opportunity to go, and Kucho is well behind. No chance for Kucho to still win this race. We're going to have a quick look as well.
Kevin's gone wide. He's nearly out of Pocho's 1 second, even though there's no DRS zones left in the
race. Well, we're going to have to go on with Sean Moore,
Oh.
unfortunately. Can't watch the battle between Pinky and Kevin. Sean Moore, for the second time in a row, is going to be the Division 2 Drivers' World Champion as he heads from the final corner. With 1 race to go, Sean Moore wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and in doing so, wins the Drivers' World Championship. And he goes over the line as confirmed. Kucho in second place, Pocho in third, on track. Is he going to get Kucho? Yes, he is. And so is... Kevin isn't, actually. Kucho in third, Kevin in fourth, Pinky in fifth, with a 3-second penalty at the end as well. Evo in sixth.
Going to the final chicane, Pinky ended up cutting the inside and getting a 3-second penalty, which won't make a difference, but Kevin lost enough time that he's actually behind Kucho.
So that might have been the deciding factor in the end. Edwin is going to end up in 8th, but I think he did get fastest lap. Yes, he did. So an extra point for Edwin. Oh, he almost got into the pit wall there. That was so close. And that's it. The Japanese Grand Prix is done.
Yeah, what a great drive by Sean there. He coped with the pressure, he's won the race, done everything he needs to do, and now he can relax going to the final race. Well, apart from the Williams-Ferrari battle for the constructors.
Yeah, that's still going on.
Sense.
And now we have it. A very, very enjoyable race once again.
Well, to get back into P2 from Pocho.
Yeah, great drives all around the field. Sean, Pocho, and Kucho, all three of them very impressive and very well-deserved podiums. And a championship win for Sean Moore, the second one in a row. The first driver to win 2 championships in Division 2. So far it's been Mannesman, Sean, and Sean again. And we still have one more race to go this season, which will decide the Constructors' Championship battle between... Well, I think it's Williams and Ferrari now. I don't think McLaren gained enough to be in contention.
Alpine didn't even get a single point. They had no drivers, so they're out of contention. Aston, no. And Mercedes, no. So... yeah.
Ferrari scored 12, McLaren scored 25. The 13-point swing in favor of McLaren over Ferrari. Which does not bring them into contention. They are still...
Williams had 33.
Yeah, McLaren are now 47 behind, so they are out of it still. So that means it is only Williams and McLaren. Williams today scoring... what's that? 25 and 8. 33 points to Ferrari's 12. So a massive, massive point swing in favor of Williams to take the lead going to the final race. And that's going to be very exciting to see. Sean and Ewek in the Williams versus Kevin and Gabby in the Ferrari. And I'm very much looking forward to that final race in Division 2 next week. As well as in Division 1 on Saturday. As always, Division 1 at 6:30 PM UK. Nothing to fight for in terms of any championships. It's all decided in Division 1. Aston Martin winning the constructors and Kart Racer winning the drivers. But still hopefully an exciting race to be seen. Some good battles hopefully. And yeah, Division 2. The Constructors title still to be decided. I hope you enjoyed today's stream, and yeah, any final words from you?
Well, my first stint of commentating in Div 2, well, once I finally made it in the actual race, about 6 or 7 laps in, and it was a good race to do it. Good action, good drama. Thank you for hosting, Felix.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for co-commentating, and yeah, have a good evening, everyone. Goodbye.
See ya.